The very warmest of welcomes to you to the Pala Vesuvio main hall in Ponticelli, the easternmost quarter of the city of Naples, and it is indeed a warm welcome. It's a piping hot summer's day, turning into a very pleasant summer's evening indeed. And the 30th summer Universiade is in full swing here. Gymnasts about to make their way out onto the field of play. This is the penultimate day of artistic gymnastics action here at the multi-sport venue, the Pala Vesuvio. Yesterday, it was a superb day for Japan, taking double gold in the team competitions. But it's just carried on getting better and better, frankly, for them, because Kazuma Kaya has taken the men's all-around championship as well. And consequently, it's 3 out of 3 golds for Japan so far. They have been absolutely unstoppable. Our focus today is going to be on the women's all-around competition here in Naples, and the opportunity for Japan to do it once more. It will be the often expected battle between Japan and the Russian Federation. Japan occupy places 1 and 4 after qualification, the Russian Federation 2 and 3. Hitomi Hatakeda was the strongest performer in qualification. Lilia Akimova the second best, Uliana Perevinosova the third, and Aiko Sugihara the fourth. The gap between 1 and 4 is about a mark. So, the big question as the gymnasts get ready to come out is, will Hatakeda come under her attack? Will Akimova climb over her? The Russians are rushing for the top. Japan have a plan. But there are many very fine gymnasts indeed in this competition. Jessica Dowling may be down in 6th, but she can floor them. And what about Italy? They took the bronze yesterday in the team competition. Will it be more of the same as Lara competes again? Let's find out as the women's all-around competition at Napoli 2019 begins. It is a great pleasure to have your company for this gymnastics action as part of the Summer Universiade. Ollie Hogben here in the Pala Vesuvio, bringing you the action. And we will do our very best, all of us providing pictures, providing sound, providing numbers to keep you up to date with everything that's going on in this busy competition. The gymnasts are divided into 2 groups, and they'll operate in what we expect to be a split warm-up format. More on that in just a short while. But those of you who are brand new to gymnastics, all you really need to know here is that all of these athletes are going to compete on the 4 pieces in the women's programme of artistic gymnastics: the uneven bars, the vault, the balance beam and the floor exercise. And the highest group of qualifiers, they will go in what is known as the Olympic order. They'll start on vault, go to the uneven bars, then to the balance beam and then to the floor exercise. A look there at Lilia Akimova, the second strongest qualifier. Laura Mori gets a huge roar.
Uliana Perevinosova, Jessica Dowling, Daniela Chuluzniuk, Aiko Sugihara.
And a look at Aiko Sugihara, the 4th strongest in the qualification process. Daniela Chuluzniuk also joins the group of gymnasts in this top group as one of the reserves. We'll talk more about her in due course. And these are the gymnasts who are in the 2nd group and pushing to make their way into contention. And if you were watching the men's competition, you'll know that we did have a little bit of drama with gymnasts from the 2nd group pushing their way towards a medal. Didn't quite happen in the end. It was very close, though. As we have a look at the gymnasts who will begin on vault. This is the top group.
For vault and 4 minutes and 10 seconds for uneven bar.
A reminder, top qualifier Hitomi Hatakeda. And she was the gymnast who was one of the 3 Japanese that took the team gold in yesterday's competition, along with Aiko Sugihara. Missing is Asuka Teramoto, the 5th strongest in qualification, and she misses out as a result. Lovely shot of the parallel bars. Hopefully be the only one we get in the competition today. Now to the uneven bars. Rather different configuration of bars, and these are the gymnasts who will go in the second group. Well, as they say, do it now, not in the competition. There's Maija Leinonen of Finland, who had a little trouble there.
For you to take and share photos for the safety of the gymnasts, please turn off the flash on your cameras and phones. Thank you. Per cortesia, non usate.
We will see plenty more of her. We have seen a lot of her already so far. It's been a wonderful competition for this Italian team. They were so impressive. Carlotta Felito, a massive part of that. She also was heavily involved in the lighting of the torch, the flame. She brought it into the stadium, the home of Napoli Football Club. And at the Stadio San Paolo, then Lorenzo Insigne, the captain of Napoli FC, actually came along and rather booted a lit ball into a replica of Vesuvius. It was really all rather stylish, and what was lovely was the reception that Felito received when she entered the stadium. Last bit of warm-up time for all of these gymnasts. Every score counts. As Goertz there was going through her vaulting process, preparation for the Dutch gymnast, 24-year-old. You may have caught a brief glimpse of her during the team competition. She was travelling around with Japan as an individual gymnast trying to qualify for this final. Farhan Abdul Haidi of Malaysia is the 12th strongest in qualification.
Stop, warm-up, vault.
It is time for us to begin the competition. Gymnasts in their last seconds now of preparation time before the judges will begin their evaluation. How do they evaluate? For those of you who are new to the sport, a difficulty score assessed by one set of judges, starts from 0 and works up, and then there is an execution score assessed by another set of judges. It starts from 10 and works its way down. And the key thing to know in terms of the qualification process in the women's competition is that there was very little between all of these gymnasts. Hatakeda 53.8, Akaimova 53, Peribanosova also 53. So the gap for Hatakeda less than a mark, and then you go all the way down to Sugihara, that's 1.15. So what we'll be looking at throughout this competition are the data trends. We'll be looking to see what changes from one rotation to the next. And if you were watching the competition earlier in the day, the men's competition, you will, I'm sure, have picked up on that with the great performance of the Russian gymnast Ivan Sredovic. So first vault completed, Elze Goertz of Netherlands. She competed at the Dutch Championships last month, was 9th in the all-around competition, but 4th in the vault. So she'll be pleased to start with one of her stronger pieces. Got a really nice central line of attack to the vault. And the form in mid-air in terms of the leg position, very strong as well. She had a 13.85 in qualification. .9 comes in for Goertz, so she improves her score by half a tenth. That will do to get things underway. Lilia Akhtaimova. Now this was a really strong vault in qualification, 14.4 for this particular delivery. Can the 22-year-old do it again? Well, she might well get close to it. She's a really high-impact vaulter. She was part of the Russian team that took the gold at the Universiade a couple of years ago in Chinese Taipei. She won the silver medal on the vault there. And has enjoyed being a Russian championship medalist in this piece. Easy to see why. She's got very nice technique as a vaulter. Power, but she is well controlled. Certainly going to be around what she scored in qualification. Might even be a touch better. We will find that out in due course. Huge opportunity for these gymnasts to get a big score early on when starting on vault, and Akaimova has done that. 14.55. She's gone up by almost a couple of tenths from qualification. Can Hitomi Hatakeda do the same? So the second strongest qualifier has moved up a fraction. Hatakeda, this wasn't as huge a vault, 13.85 in qualifying. But it's good. It's very good indeed. So all of these gymnasts so far have got through the early challenge. The vault has been well delivered. The 18-year-old Hatakeda getting herself absolutely ready. There's a lovely family history of the Universiade in the Hatakeda family. Her mother Yukiko actually competed at it. That's a really good vault, 14.075. Everyone we've seen so far has made some form of gain upon their qualification score. If it continues like that, we're in for a lot of fun. Yana Fedorova of Ukraine, 8th strongest overall qualifier. Well, this is really lovely. We're getting some great quality to this vaulting. She scored a 13.65 in qualification, Fedorova. As this is a university competition, we'll try to take any opportunity that we can just to explore a little bit of the academic background of the athletes. And Fedorova is studying for a coaching degree at the National University of Physical Education and Sport of Ukraine. And she scored 13.5 for her vault. Lara Mori will be roared down here by the Italian fans. And she also has delivered a strong performance in this first exercise. 13.2 was her qualification score. Gymnast who was part of the team that took the bronze medal yesterday. They went in the first subdivision and watched and waited. It was a long wait, but worth it. And she's got form at these kind of events. Mediterranean Games, 3 times gold medalist last year in Tarragona. Not a very good view from behind there. And for Mori is the 7th strongest in qualification. An improvement here would be good, and she has got it. Just a small one, 13.25. She's up by half a tenth. But we'll keep tabs on all of these little changes from the qualification process and see what impact they might have. Just had a brief glimpse of Mariana Pitres, gymnast from Portugal, who was the 16th strongest in qualification. She's one of the gymnasts going in the second group, as is the Turkish gymnast Demet Mutlu. There'll be a brief pause for the first group who are vaulting. They've gone halfway through, so we're going to have a little gap whilst the first half of the gymnasts on the uneven bars perform their routines, and then it'll be the split warm-up, so the second half will get ready to compete, and that gives us the chance just to explore a little bit of the work of this second group. Every gymnast has their own idiosyncratic preparation of the apparatus.
Demet Mutlu, Turkey.
And so too, Demet Mutlu of Turkey, the reigning Turkish uneven bars champion. She's also the reigning all-around champion. Got a 13.033 on the uneven bars in that competition. 12.2 here in qualifying, so she's got room that she can make up quite a bit. Just lost her form turning around. And again, the legs just go slightly splayed. Just about made that. It's not the tidiest work, unfortunately, that we've seen from Demet Mutlu. She is an experienced competitor on this piece. Took a gold medal in it at the Islamic Solidarity Games in Baku a couple of years ago. Still a long way to go in the competition, though. Wasn't far off landing that dismount at all, actually. Unfortunately, the nature of this sport is that when you are not far off, it looks like you're a long way off. Gymnast who is studying for a degree in coaching and sports studies at the same university in Izmir as Ahmed Under. Gymnast who has impressed for quite some time. Mutlu waiting for her score to come in. She knows there will be, at the very least, the full mark deduction for the unintentional dismount. There'll be a little bit more than that, so it's 11.2 for Demet Mutlu. Competition continues on the uneven bars. And we look at Yang Se-mi of the Republic of Korea, 19-year-old gymnast who has just recently made her move into higher education, having attended Namyeong High School for a number of years. She's got through that nicely. Only had an 11.5 in qualification, and she's going to have a similar problem here. Just didn't quite get that transition right. One of those gymnasts who's been lurking around the national team setup for a little while, waiting to have a breakthrough opportunity. Can she have a stable landing? Oh, very much so. That was a delightful dismount. The routine finishes really positively. Such a shame about that high to low transition.
Second group. Warm up.
Look back at the work of Yang Se-mi. Just came rather underneath the bar and had to really fight to get the power back and get the travelling back. But there weren't any issues at all going into this really nice dismount. Lovely positioning of the body. 15th strongest in qualification was Yang Se-mi. Now the next lot are going to have their warm-up time. Japanese fans have been extremely pleased with everything they've seen so far, unsurprisingly. They really were in jubilant mood as they were leaving the arena last night. SME scores 10.4. They were waiting around an age for a taxi big enough to fit them all in. And it was worth the wait. They were having a lovely chat about what an enjoyable day it had been. It's been very enjoyable so far for Lilia Akimova. At this stage, she has posted the highest score, but we're really only seeing a halfway point of the first rotation. Those of you just joining the action, then we're in the women's all-around competition. We're just getting underway, halfway through the first rotation, and each of the rotations will be operating using the split warm-up format, which many of you gymnasts out there, particularly if you were junior gymnast for a considerable period of time, you'll know the split warm-up format very well indeed. So we get halfway through a rotation. There are 9 in each group, and at that halfway point they have a little bit of warm-up opportunity, the second group. And they'll be led by Juliana Perubinosova. Perubinosova, a gymnast who had a 13.65 for her vault in qualification. Interesting to see Aiko Sugihara. 14.1 was her vault. It was a really good bit of vaulting too. The gymnasts involved in the team competition yesterday. Got a glimpse of Lana Fisher, the Canadian gymnast. Made her international senior debut in the competition yesterday. Very proud moment for her. She put an awful lot of work into getting to that stage too. So here we go, Juliana Perubinosova to get things underway in this second group. Well, that was very well delivered too. 13.65 was her score in qualifying. 18-year-old took that team silver yesterday and was part of the Moscow team that won the gold at the Russian Nationals last year. Great occasion for her. Very strong team as well. Just has a little hop back as she comes out of the vault into the landing. Toes are well pointed. It's very stable work. Judges will look for leg separation as the gymnast enters the apex of the vault, and there wasn't really a great deal to speak of there. 13.5, well-executed vault, not a massively high difficulty, very similar to her score in qualification. Canada's Jessica Dowling, the 6th strongest qualifier in the all-around qualification process that was part of the team final. Very well vaulted. Big roar from the crowd, from friends and family watching on. 24-year-old is from Hamilton in Ontario and has already got a medal to her name from the Universiade. Silver in the team competition in Taipei a couple of years ago. Says it's the highlight of her career as an athlete. She looked genuinely, utterly delighted with that performance. Score was a 13 in qualifying. This might be a little bit better. If her reaction's anything to go by, it was. But, not always the clearest indication of things. It was on that occasion, though. So there we go. We'll call that a fail-safe method. Daniela Churusniuk from Romania. And she also has vaulted really well. It's a good opportunity, this, for her. She's come in as a reserve. Barbara Mokashova of Slovakia not able to compete. 19-year-old is now, as a result, having been the 20th in qualification, is part of this top group. Sometimes that can be a really good thing for the gymnast. It sort of spurs them on to be around the top performers. We've seen some very accomplished vaulting so far to get this top group underway. 13.2 for the Romanian gymnast. To Aiko Sugihara of Japan. Now this was a 14.1 for the fourth strongest in qualification. Oh, it's lovely, it really is good quality. Gymnast who studies at the Japan Women's College of Physical Education. And it's great to see her in this sort of jubilant mood and indeed in this kind of jubilant form, having had a very injury-disrupted 2018. She really is performing so well at the moment. Just won her second consecutive all-around bronze medal at the Japanese Championships. She went better than that in the NHK Trophy, took the silver. And that is a very prestigious event indeed, the NHK Trophy. Only the top performers from the from the Japanese Championships managed to make their way through there. And she started confidently. 14 is her score. There is a real sense of jubilance and enjoyment out there on the field of play at the moment. Great to see. Danelle Pedrick of Canada to compete on the uneven bars. Another one of the gymnasts that took honours in 2017. It's a slightly stuttering routine in places. Fought through it, really fought through it. Not fully the start that she was hoping for. Got an 11.7 in qualifying, 17th strongest overall. Danelle Pedrick had to make a big choice in an earlier time in her life as to whether she was going to pursue gymnastics or ice hockey. And if you are from Saskatchewan, then ice hockey is always going to be on the cards, isn't it? It's a massive sport in that part of the world. Obviously, she made her choice, and it's turned out to be a very good one. Has a very successful academic career as well as her career as an NCAA gymnast. A little bit of a delay from time to time in getting some of these results through from the officials. It continues right now. There we go. 11.25 is the score for Pedrick. To Maria Ángeles Murillo of Costa Rica. 11.9 was her score in qualifying, 19th best overall. Completes the Jaeger. Just to stabilise that pirouette. And had to stabilise that dismount, which she did nicely. The 19-year-old from Heredia. She trains at the Gimnasia Artistica Belén. She's done some of her better work recently on the balance beam. It was her weakest piece in qualification, so she has the opportunity to make up a little bit of ground moving through the competition if she can perform well on the balance beam, which will be her next piece. A lot of strength went into stabilising that dismount. Quick footwork to do it. Almost preemptively celebrated that. Almost. And so on we go. That brings to a close the first rotation. Watching on, the mother of Lara Mori. She was in very fine voice indeed in the competition yesterday. And will now be in a position to bring you a sense of the standings at this stage. .85 the score for Murillo. Well, she was very close to the 11.9 she received in qualifying. Akaimova sets the early pace. Harakeda, Sugihara, and then Gertz making up the top four, with Pervinosova a little way behind, but it's very early days in the process. It's tempting to read an awful lot into the scores at the conclusion of her first rotation, but those of you who've been watching an awful lot of gymnastics over the years will know that there are a lot of stories still to be told in this event.
An even bars, 4 minutes and 10 seconds for the first 5 gymnasts warm-up. Beam, 2 minutes and 30 for the first 5 gymnasts. Stop, warm-up, beam.
Here in the Pala Vesuvio in Naples, the competition continues in the women's all-around artistic gymnastics event at Napoli 2019. The second highest group of qualifiers are doing their work at the moment on the balance beam. And we look at Maija Leinonen of Finland, who scored a 12.05 in qualification. She has been the Finnish champion on the balance beam. Didn't quite fully secure that pirouette.
Neve bars, Russia, Lidia Akaimova.
She's managed somehow to keep on here after some real difficulties. Got through that and dismounted well. There were moments where it looked as though Leinonen was on her way off the beam. She managed to stabilise herself, and it looked rather challenging. Closest she's come to World Cup honours is a fourth place finish on the beam in Szombathely in Hungary a few years ago. Put the hands down, didn't go off, so avoided the huge deductions, but they will be significant, the execution deductions, for those few occasions that she really did rather jackknife the body. Now across to the first group, competing on the uneven bars. Perhaps in a moment anyway. Here we go. And the score has come in as 11.45 for Leinonen, so quite a bit down from the 12.05 she scored in qualification. Now we have the chance to have a look at the top qualifier, Hitomi Hatakeda. Hatakeda in second place, trailing by just about half a mark coming into this second rotation. Just being absolutely sure of her preparations.
Uneven bars, Japan, Hitomi Hatakeda.
Well, she's just won the uneven bars gold at the Japanese Apparatus Championships again. A real breakthrough was in 2017 when she won the gold there. So this is something that has been, over the years, a thoroughly dependable piece of apparatus for her. This is the nice half-turn transition, the Van Leuven. Very elegant looking Jaeger. Very nice routine from Hitomi Hatakeda. One always expects wonderful things on the uneven bars from her, and she's just shown why that expectation is there. Just the briefest of high fives to Probably a low five, really, to Yana Fedorova, who's about to compete. Let's look back and enjoy this excellent work from the team gold medalist in the competition yesterday. Does generate a really good amount of power. This pike position in the Jaeger is technically very sound. A lot that's very positive from an execution standpoint. Well, they've had very little cause to do anything other than smile, the Japanese coaching team. Such a good competition have they had in the Pala Vesuvio. Weight is still on for Hitomi Harakeda. She managed to get close to the qualification mark that she set. She managed to go better. 13.85 was her qualification score. Just to put things in context, Akaimova, who we're going to see later, was a 12.95 on the uneven bars. So this is a great opportunity for Harakeda to recapture some of the ground that was lost on the vault. And that was expected ground to lose. Tatiana Nabieva, who took part in the team competition yesterday, winning a silver medal, adding to her collection of Universiade medals. One as far back as Kazan in 2013. 13.8 is the score for Harakeda. So she's only down by half a tenth from the mark in qualifying.
Uneven bars. Yana Fedorova, Ukraine.
Yana Fedorova. Salto and a decent amount of amplitude. She's got to really get moving again now, which she's done. Jaeger has delivered without incident. It's a simple dismount. Fedorova did take an uneven bars bronze medal in Osijek at the World Cup back in May. That was her first World Cup medal since Baku in March of last year. That was also an uneven bars bronze. So she certainly has got pedigree on this piece of apparatus. But she is starting to become regarded as a important all-around player in Ukraine. Did well at the Ukrainian Championships back in March. Italy's Lauren Mori will be the next competitor to go on the uneven bars. And they did really get the crowd going in such an extraordinary way, the Italian team, when they competed yesterday in that team competition. They really had to set their own pace. They were up against teams who weren't likely to make a big challenge for medal, so they had to deliver as though they were in the final subdivision, and they did that. They set a really good mark that became very difficult to get near. As 103.5 the score. And they were well ahead of the three other teams they were competing alongside.
Beam, Korea, Semi-Young.
Still waiting, Yana Fedorova.
Bars.
And there is her score, 12.7. So she's just down by a tenth from the qualification mark. She's a little bit down across the board, Fedorova, the 8th strongest qualifier. But she's got the chance to make up quite a bit on the balance beam later. Now to Laura Mori, had a 12.55 in qualifying. Chev was quite pacey. She just lost a bit of her travel coming out of the Stolder. It's a very good dismount though from Laura Mori. They loved every moment of it in the crowd, obviously. All she can do is keep delivering in these routines as parents watch on. Very proud moment for them. She's just got to keep delivering. See what happens to the rest of the pack. They might fall away, they might give her an opening. Didn't get enormously far away from the bars, but she certainly dismounted with strength. Yep, that's exactly the sort of noise she was making yesterday, and why not? Hugely proud moment for the Mori family. They look very alike as well, don't they? .7 is the score for Italy's Lara Mori. She's made a little bit of a jump up from qualifying. She's done that across her first two routines. Nothing huge, but some incremental advances. To Uliana Perevinosova, Russian gymnast who does excel on this piece, and that's why, because there's real difficulty to her work. She got a 13.6 in qualifying. It's complex work, it's exciting work, it's well-executed work from Uliana Perevinosova. She made her big senior debut at the European Championships last year, won the team gold there, came 5th in the uneven bars. She also enjoyed real success at junior level on the bars. She's still just 18. There's a lot that is highly exciting about what Perevinosova does on the bars. It's some of the small things that maybe if you're new to watching the sport, that's where you can start to see those increases in difficulty, where she catches with a mixed grip, hands going in opposite directions, or the cross-hand grip as you sometimes hear it called.
Second group.
once we get to the conclusion of this first half of the split rotation. It'll then be time for another warm-up. The next lot will take to the bars. That's a big jump up. 14.35 from a 13.6 in qualification. Petrovinosova really in contention with that display. That's one of the biggest jumps that we've seen so far in that top group. May indeed even be the biggest that we've seen. Now, a look at some earlier work. Lilia Akaimova. Completes the Pachev well. Very nice dismount, very secure from Lilia Akaimova. She had a 12.95 for that in qualifying. And this is the gymnast who was leading the way after the first rotation. Coming in as the second strongest qualifier, Akaimova with a score of 13.1. So she's managed to gain a little bit across both of her routines. She has gained something. And that takes us to the halfway mark of this rotation. Harakeda in the lead, Petrovinosova second place, very, very close indeed. Just over 200ths the gap, then Akaimova. It really is very tight at the moment. Fedorova is well positioned too. And a little bit of daylight starting to emerge between Mori and Leinonen, but we still have got the second half of this second rotation to come. Be interesting when we get to that halfway mark in a short while to see exactly how it's all looking at the top. It was expected to be close, it certainly is. Farah Abdul Hadi, the Malaysian gymnast, having her warm-up.
Stop the warm-up, beam. Beam, Austria, Marlies Mennersdorfer.
Marlies Mennersdorfer, gymnast from Austria, to compete on the balance beam.
Canada.
Oh, she really did fight to try to stay. This was one of her stronger pieces in qualification. 11th best overall. She had a 12.4 on the beam. Mennersdorfer was the Austrian all-around champion about a year ago. To take a silver on the beam too. Nicely performed. Difficult move that, from facing one direction sideways on the beam to immediately stabilise yourself in the other. Good recovery. Well, she is something of a specialist on this piece. Would have been hoping to pick up even more. The full mark deduction to one side. It was a good routine, yes. I think that reaction is what a lot of Marlies Mennersdorfer fans will have done when that happened. Just thought, oh, she was almost there. The rest of the routine really was so enjoyable to watch. She's really looking to target the Olympic Games in Tokyo through the Apparatus World Cups and through work on the balance beam. I think in so many ways it's just a joy to see her actually competing in a big competition, because she's so often been a little bit derailed by injury ahead of major events such as the World Championships.
An even bars, Romania, Daniela Churuzniuk.
Gymnast from Romania.
Canada, Denel
Daniela Churuzniuk is getting prepared. So, just confirmation there. Mansdorfer's score was 11.3. Now we are looking at Andrea Daniela Churuzniuk of Romania. She did win the uneven bars at the Romanian National Championships last year. And just had a little trouble with the Ginger. Now admonishes herself after it too. Very fine stability shown on that dismount from Churuzniuk. It's just when she was aiming for the catch from the Ginger that just didn't quite seem to be in alignment. And there it was. What's a little bit over the top of the bar, perhaps. She will doubtless go back and study this and look back at it all again, what went right, what didn't. Certainly what such a key part now of enhancing performance, athletes video reviewing their own work, scrutinising things in very close detail. Sometimes, of course, they don't want to go back and look at it again. A little bit more time for you to enjoy that score for Marlies Mansdorfer. Not a lot more time, but there it was. Russian Federation secured the team bronze medal in the men's competition, and the silver in the women's. And what about all-around gold in the women's competition? 11.15 is the score for Churuzniuk. She's down from the 11.45 she scored in qualifying. Now it is Aiko Sugihara.
Aiko Sugihara.
Sugihara was the fourth best overall.
Beam.
Score of 12.45 for the balance beam. The uneven bars rather than balance beam, excuse me. Getting ahead of myself, that's coming up next. She might well have made an advancement, Sugihara. Third coming into this. Will she be better positioned? She certainly looks as though she's really happy about that. She has been an all-around champion in continental competition. She just missed out on a medal at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Fourth with the Japanese team. Everything is telling us at the moment it is going to be a remarkably close battle for the medal positions across several gymnasts. Of course, you never know, it might well be entirely different a story in the second half of the competition. You might suddenly get somebody open up a huge lead. It can happen, it does happen. Elsa Gertz is getting ready to perform on the uneven bars. Sugihara has improved her score by 0.2, 12.65 for her. That offsets the small loss of a tenth she had on the vault, but she needs to pick something up somewhere along the way and hope that others fall away in order to get to the podium. Same applies very much to Elsa Gertz. She had a 12.45 for the uneven bars in qualifying. Overall, 8th strongest. Also training at Turns Amsterdam. Oh, didn't ever look quite right, that dismount. The crowd were beginning to gasp almost the moment that she released the high bar, but she did roll really safely through out of it. That's what all these gymnasts learn, is how to correct something that's going not at all well. It's an unusual dismount. Just have another look at it in a moment. She goes from the hip circle into the dismount position. Very challenging actually to come away at exactly the right angle. Gets the knees tucked in tightly, but she's not right in terms of her rotations. Farah Abdul Hadi to compete on the balance beam. A 25-year-old from Subang Jaya in Malaysia. She's got a real style to her as a gymnast. A decorated competitor as well. 4 times a Southeast Asian Games gold medalist. Floor is really where she excels as a performer. Oh. She looks okay. Amazing, isn't it? Think that she's just hopped straight back up on there without showing any signs at all of being shaken. That was not pleasant at all. That was. She's particularly good at doing actually is hiding those necessary moments of stabilisation. Makes it all almost seem part of the choreography. Well, that really was some recovery from Farah Abdul Hadi, because she did clatter down off the beam. But you know what? She is such an experienced competitor, and that does count for an awful lot. There was an audible gasp come shriek in the auditorium as that happened.
Change the apparatus.
You know what? She was straight back up and then produced this dismount. Marvellous. Experienced and well recovered. And what she is really good at doing throughout a competition, if you've watched any of the Southeast Asian Games or any of the World Cup competitions she's been a part of, I'll come back to that in a moment, because the score is 12.05 for Gertz on the uneven bars. What Abdul Hadi is really good at is being in buoyant mood throughout a competition. Keeps her spirits up, and she's just taking a moment there, I think, to settle herself after what must have been a rather unnerving experience. I'm going to chat with Maya Leninen about the whole thing. And her score is 11.25. Down just by a couple of tenths from the mark that she hit in qualification, where she also unfortunately came off the apparatus. On the uneven bars, Jessica Dowling. For Dowling, the need to really make up ground. There was a bit of daylight between the 4th and 5th strongest qualifiers, and Dowling in 6th position. So needs a big increment. What she does have, of course, that so few others do, is a medal at the Universiade. She does know how to get into a winning position. Unfortunate dismount. She just seemed to spring back up off the mat a touch as she landed. It can happen. Gymnast who has battled through injury that would have ended a lot of gymnastics careers, to be frank. She had such bad right knee problems a few years ago, had surgery on it twice, to the point where effectively, as she puts it, she had to relearn how to walk. Then she finds herself able to compete as a gymnast once again. Well, at least she looked to be nothing more than a touch shaken by the whole process, and not actually in any form of pain. .15 is the score for Dowling on the uneven bars. And that takes us to this point in proceedings. Takes us to the halfway mark of the competition, where Hatakeda is ahead of Feribinosova, who is ahead of Akimova, who is ahead of Sugihara. So all we've had change around, actually, from qualification is 2 and 3. They've just switched positions. Otherwise, that top 4 is as we expected it to be. But do keep an eye on Yana Fedorova. Fedorova positioned 5th. Then we're starting to get the gaps emerging. Gertz and Mori and Dowling making up the top 8. These are the gymnasts that will be on the balance beam, the top group. So far, what we don't have is anyone from that second group has made it score-wise into the first group, so we still have a distinction between the front 9 and the second group, but that is with, in brackets, the fact that Andrea Daniela Cherusniuk was a much lower qualifier. So she's really doing well to be holding on to 9th position, having come in as a reserve. Welcome to you if you are just joining the action and switching on your television, wherever in the world it might be that you're doing that from. This is the women's all-around competition at Napoli 2019, penultimate day of artistic gymnastics action. It is a close competition, and we will now look at the leader, Hitomi Harakeda. This is a lead of just 2.5 hundredths. She scored 13.1 Harakeda in qualification. Did set herself so nicely into that sequence. Didn't take too long to do it either. That's something the judges do watch for. There was a wonderful sense of fluidity to that routine from Harakeda, and a magnificent reaction upon its conclusion. Lovely to see that reaction as well from Sugihara, who just came straight across with as big a celebration as if she'd done it herself, and that's what makes for such a strong and successful team. This was worthy of a big reaction too. The kind of performance at this stage of the competition that can make the difference between winning an all-around event and not. Made her big international debut at the Voronin Cup in December of 2015. She won a bronze medal on the balance beam there. It was quite apparent from early on that that was something that she was highly accomplished at. A great gymnastics family, the Harakedas. Sister Chiaki is fast coming up as well on the senior circuit. One to very much keep an eye on.
Floor.
So the score is 13. It is a touch down from qualifying, just by a tenth. Now to Yana Fedorova, gymnast from Ukraine. 5th position for her coming into this second half of the competition, and here's where she will be hopeful of making up some ground. She had an 11.65 on the beam and 11.65 on the floor. Take balance beam silver at the Ukraine Cup last year. That's difficult work. Lost her control of touch in the walkover. Maybe unexpectedly. Got through that with a moment of necessary stabilisation, but with the confidence that she will likely have improved upon her score from qualification. Yana Fedorova, the sort of score that could put her into medal contention. She was the 8th best in qualification. Seems to be a good time at the moment for Ukrainian gymnasts to be 8th in all-around qualification and come away with a medal. That's exactly where Oleg Vernyayev was in the European Games recently. if she can do something similar. Certainly has given herself a chance there. Also training at the Kiev School of Supreme Sports Skill. They don't mess around with the names of things in Kiev. Pretty clear the kind of school it's trying to aim itself towards. And she does justify her place in it too. And Mori was a good performer on the balance beam in the team competition, which doubled as the qualification for this all-around event.
Beam, Lara Mori, Italy.
12 is the score for Fedorova. She's made an improvement of almost 0.4 of a mark.
Floor, Semi-Young, Korea.
Now Lara Mori of Italy. This is where now she needs to treat in the right way the noise from the crowd. Just lock herself away into the right place to go through this routine. And that's gone very smoothly indeed. This is composed and controlled work. Wonderful. Did you ever doubt it? She's certainly doing everything she can to stay in touch with the top group, is Lara Mori. And whether she comes away with a medal or not in this competition, well, she's made a few people, more than a few, very proud indeed. It's a tough, tough ask to break into that top group. She's already come away with a medal so far at this competition, her home competition. Gymnast from Montevarchi, a northern Italian medieval town. What's so interesting is that Mori has come into this competition feeling very confident, having performed well in the domestic league, the Serie A of gymnastics. She's taken a couple of all-around medals there, including a gold back in March. It's just that extra something about performing in front of the family, the friends, many, many well-wishers besides. We will continue with the balance beam action in a short while. All of these competitors will finish up on the floor. We're in rotation number 3 of 4 here at the Palais Vesuvio, in the easternmost part of the city of Naples, capital of Campania, third largest city in Italy after Rome and Milan. Got about 1 million people in the city itself, but over 3 million in the wider metropolitan area. It really does sprawl out and extend. What a fascinating city it is, with a remarkable history. It goes all the way back to the 2nd millennium BC. Mori has a score in. It is 12.55. She is down a fraction in qualification. I think having a little debate about the extent to which they're in agreement about that. Can make a difficulty inquiry, should they wish to. Juliana Perevinosova is on the beam. Gymnast who was in 2nd place coming into this rotation. 12.85 she scored on the beam. Oh, goodness! What happened there? Looked as though she'd actually got through that moment. Now, it's just become a little bit problematic. Now then, what might that do to the leaderboard? Juliana Perevinosova, the hands going down on the beam. Well, that's remarkable, isn't it? Every time I watch that, I think, well, she's fine now. She's fine there, and then suddenly she's not. Quite extraordinary, that moment. But ended up solidifying the routine with a good dismount. It's going to be a slightly uncomfortable process now for Perevinosova when this score comes in, because there's a fair old amount to remove from an execution standpoint. A reminder, 12.85 her score in the qualification. How much has she lost? Well, she managed to keep it to within a mark. Well, she has done. It's 12.1 for Perevinosova. 12.85 in qualifying, so quite a bit has gone away there. 3/4 of a mark. Jessica Dowling. Dowling in 8th position coming into this beam routine. The gymnasts have managed to leap above her. She started the sport as a child, didn't keep going, put it behind her at a very young age, and then when she was in grade 3 of primary school, she was doing cartwheels with her friends and taught herself how to do a cartwheel, how to do a bridge. Apparently just ran home and said to her mum, I'm going to be a gymnast. Those fundamental skills that she learned at such a young age, they've never left her. She's 24 now. So years of experience behind her. She manages to control that dismount nicely when there was a little bit of a sideways lilt. Applause from teammates on the sidelines. Nice friendly invitation to get going. seen over the shoulder of Dowling, teammate Alana Fisher watching on and supporting. Only 2 gymnasts from each nation, the best obviously, are allowed to compete in the all-around final.
2 minutes.
It can be quite hard for their teammate watching on because they feel and live and breathe every moment. Wish so very much for their colleagues to deliver their very finest work. Studies at the University of Guelph in Ontario and has very interesting academic aspiration. She's very interested in disease, in genetics, and the interaction that there is between nutrition and genetics in the prevention of disease. It's a developing field called nutrigenomics, something that she is fiercely committed to pursuing postgraduate study in. And that is, after all, the great ethos of these games, the bringing together of elite sport and elite academia, of creating today's stars into tomorrow's leaders. The motto of the International University Sports Federation, or FISU, founded in 1949, and the first games, the first Summer Universiade, was held here in Italy, in Turin, 10 years later. It now makes its return, and what a difference. 1,500 athletes came to the first one, 8,000 in attendance here. Finland well represented. They've had a good time of things in gymnastics recently. Emil Saravoa taking the floor gold medal at the European Games. Some exciting gymnasts coming through in the Finnish setup, and also in rhythmic gymnastics too. They've got a very promising group. Rhythmic gymnastics will be taking place towards the end of these games. Quite make that the most coordinated effort ever, but started well.
Beam, Romania, Daniela Chorozniuk. Floor, Canada, Denel Pedri.
Call across to Denel Pedrick, who is competing on floor from Jess Dowling. Hopefully she will not come unstuck. Well, if you're just joining the action, I use that term slightly in inverted commas at the moment, we are watching a number of gymnasts, watching Denel Pedrick competing on floor as we get ready for the start of the next subdivision. Apologies that you missed that work of Denel Pedrick, but the judges most certainly haven't done. And there is the score for Jessica Dowling, 12.05 for her work on the balance beam. Daniela Chorozniuk. She scored 11.3 in qualification for this piece. It was where she rather emerged in her first senior year at the Romanian National Championships in 2016 that she took a bronze medal. times over the years, Romanian gymnasts become known for what they can do on the balance beam. She's taken full advantage of this opportunity, Daniela Jurasnyuk, to participate in the all-around final. She's performed well above her qualification station. She was, as a reminder, the 20th best performer, just behind Maria Ángeles Murillo. And significantly better than that at the moment. The opportunity to gain a little here.
Floor. Maria Ángeles Murillo, Costa Rica.
11.2 is the score for the Romanian gymnast. So pretty much in line with her qualification mark. Might have hoped to get a little bit more out of that display. Now, Aiko Sugihara, who scored 12.85 in qualification. Gymnast in 4th position, coming into the second half of the competition. Very impressive so far. There is, oh, I say there was her Sugihara skill. Didn't quite happen on that occasion. A move that she has made very well known. Much as happened to Perebinnosova, she might have just fallen away a little bit now. Sugihara perhaps given an opportunity for others to come forward from that chasing group. Finishes well, but there will be a cost. There will be a clear full mark deduction for Aiko Sugihara. What kind of distance is that going to create between her and the leading couple of gymnasts? Is it recoverable? This is where the problem happened. Skill that she's so often done so very well. Touch problematic on that occasion. Worth bearing in mind that she did have a left knee operation back in June. It's in June of last year, just to point out in case you think she had a remarkable recovery from that. It's only been a year since that heavy-duty surgery. .6 is Sugihara's score, so not enormously costly compared to her qualification mark. But didn't manage to pick anything up, didn't manage to gain anything.
Bim, Else Geurts.
Else Geurts from Netherlands, 12.05 in qualification for the 8th strongest overall.
Floor.
She was in 6th position coming into this particular rotation. Pace back to control. Dismounts tidily. Else Geurts. She was 9th in the all-around at the most recent Dutch Championships. It's a really good emerging Dutch gymnast at the moment. The most recent big team competition that they had, which was the European Championships in Glasgow in 2018. They took a very impressive bronze medal there. Certainly at continental level, they really are emerging. Some returning names as well in Dutch gymnastics. Geurts has looked impressive, quietly impressive in this competition. May well be a touch shy of what she produced in qualification here, but she has been stronger on her vaulting. 11.8 to a 12.05 in qualifying for Geurts, so just losing a little ground.
Bim, Russia.
Now then, this is a great opportunity for Lilia Akimova. Just to give a little bit of synopsis, Sugihara has come off. Benosova put the hands down. No issues from Harakeda. So Akimova, who was in 2nd position coming into this rotation, if she stays on and has a secure routine, suddenly she's wonderfully positioned. She has got a strong floor routine as well to go on to. Well then, Lilia Akimova, who took the team silver medal in yesterday's competition, is mounting a very good challenge for gold and doing it in a way that really embodies the spirit of FISU. That reaction between the gymnasts from opposing nations in this particular competition was a real delight to see. 22-year-old from St. Petersburg who's reading an undergraduate degree in sports coaching. put herself in a very good position. How good, we will discover in just a moment. The gap between Hatakeda and Peribanosova has grown to almost a mark. Bearing in mind it was at a couple of hundredths before. But where does she fit into this? Evaluating every moment of it with Tatiana Nabieva. We will see Nabieva in action in some of the apparatus finals. 12.75 for Akimova. She's picked up 0.45 from qualification, and as a result, she's really put herself in touching distance, especially because of the performance of Hatakeda compared to her in the floor part of the qualification process. So we've got some interesting maths to work out. Perhaps she's doing some of those calculations right now. Probably got more the clue than I have, which isn't hard. Everyone thoroughly intrigued by the conclusion to this competition. Really good crowd gathered here in the Pala Vesuvio. And we're going to have a look at Maija Leinonen competing on floor. Finnish gymnast in her second Universiade competition. Maija Leinonen of Finland had an 11.5 for this routine in qualification. She's a student at the Haaga-Helia University of Applied Sciences in Helsinki. Didn't have the easiest time of this routine in qualifying. And this seemed to be quite a bit more stable in terms of the escapes from her tumbling passes. 11.9 it was. Better by almost half a mark from what she produced in qualification. 23-year-old from Loja. So that is how things stand as we move into the final rotation of this women's all-around artistic gymnastics competition at Napoli 2019. Tomi Hatakeda still has the advantage. Now it is Lilia Akimova who's mounting the charge. The gap has grown, but here's where it gets very interesting, because Akimova has an advantage of 0.35 in the floor qualification to a gap of 0.475, so we could be in for a really tight finish indeed. As for Perbenosova, well, she's got around about 3/4 of a mark on Sugihara in 4th position, and Mori then is quite a way away in 5th place. Laura Mori did have some difficulties with stabilising her floor routine. It was by far the weaker of all of her pieces in qualifying. That offset against the fact that we know, any of us who watch the World Cup series of gymnastics, that Laura Mori is in medal-winning form in floor competition. She has performed very well in the World Cup events such as Baku and Doha. So all of that analysis tells us, don't really know, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be fun finding out. Great to have your company for this final rotation here at Naples 2019. And it begins with Yana Fedorova. She really has had a fine competition, Yana Fedorova. Gymnast who was 4th at the Ukrainian Championships in March in the all-round competition. Just finished behind Valeria Osipova for the bronze medal. But when you consider that she's come into this as the 8th strongest qualifier, she's poised to finish a little bit above that in a competitive group of gymnasts as well. It's been very good. 11.65 was her mark in qualifying. It was very steady work in the twist. It's a nice, memorable, stylish finish to the display.
Volt. Semi-young Korea.
As we are now in the final rotation, we're going to get a clear picture of who is leading and who is in medal contention. Attention will very much be focused on this group of gymnasts competing on floor. Very nervous times for Mum watching on with Laura Mori about to take to the floor, especially knowing it didn't quite go right in the team competition.
Laura Mori, Italy.
11.85, Fedorova finishes with an improvement and she goes into the gold medal position. So it is Yana Fedorova of Ukraine who has set the mark that all others must beat. Laura Mori, in order to go ahead of it, needs 11.55. Naples, this great city of theatre and performance. That was the showstopper. So very different from the team competition. Lara Mori's floor routine, the sort of floor routine we know and love from her. No time, unfortunately, for an encore, but very proud parents indeed. It is such a great routine. It has a touch of playfulness, of real theatricality to it, but it's underpinned by just good old-fashioned great gymnastics. This is so difficult, moving from those split leg pirouettes into the illusion turn. That was a lot of strength required. Yes, she takes a penalty for stepping out of bounds, but she was quite low into the second part of the tumbling pass, so did well to hold it firm. That was excellent. Tears shed, but tears of joy. Lara Mori is in the gold medal position with a score of 13.2. A massive increase of 1.5 marks from that floor routine in qualification. So it is Mori 1, Fedorova 2. Marlies Mannersdorfer is currently occupying bronze medal. I say that, she's just lost it to Danelle Pedrick. It was there for a moment. It's all going to change now. Uliana Perobinosova. Sport is a wonderfully dramatic and diverse thing. That's the great joy of these multi-sport games like the Universiade. But I don't know, from my perspective, I can't think of any greater way to conclude a competition than with a sequence of floor routines. It's that incredible combination of athletic ability with the storytelling. It all just adds to the sense of drama that I'm sure you're feeling watching at home. Uliana Perobinosova trying to make up ground, having had that awkward moment on the balance beam. 12.9 was her score in qualifying. So a reminder, Mori 1, Fedorova 2, Pedrick 3. We still have a long way to go in terms of the final standings. Gap between first and second is 1.5 marks, so Mori is in quite a strong position. Still waiting for her score, Uliana Perobinosova. Next to go it will be Jessica Dowling, who has got an absolutely captivating floor routine. Now, has Peribinosova done enough to go ahead of Mori? She certainly has. 12.75 is the score for Peribinosova. She now goes into the gold medal position. So Peribinosova 1, Mori 2, Fedorova 3. And to this fascinating routine from Jessica Dowling. Isn't that a performance? I mean, what a wonderfully composed piece of theatre that is. It's going to be a pleasure to see that again in the apparatus final tomorrow. And there'll be time for Jessica Dowling just to iron out some of the issues with the first tumbling sequence. But it is just engrossing to watch. She'll go away and work on that, doubtless. Other parts of it were very secure. Just got some great choreography going on. The lead is Uliana Peribinosova, Lauren Mori, second place Jana Fedorova, the bronze medal position. Certainly would be of great surprise, unfortunately, for Jessica Dowling if she were to break into that group now. Just hoping, so many of the fans here, that Mori manages to hold on somehow. We will, in a moment, see the performance of Andrea Daniela Cherusniuk. Currently in 15th position in the standings, performing well above her qualification performance. So getting a touch exhausting, isn't it, this drama? 10.65 is the score for Dowling, but we'll see that routine again tomorrow in the apparatus final. That'll be worth enjoying once more. Andrea Daniela Cherusniuk. 10.6 she had for this routine in qualification. Chance to make up a bit of ground here. It's always a wonderful thing to see a gymnast come into an all-around competition slightly unexpectedly, and it was very last minute for her. And to take advantage of the opportunity to improve upon what they did in qualification. That's a promising sign. So now we have the halfway mark of this final rotation. And this is a look back at some work earlier in the previous rotation from Farah and Abdul Hadi on floor. And Abdul Hadi has qualified in 6th position for the floor final. 12.45 her score. Just a 10th down from the mark she got in qualification. An enjoyable routine to watch again in the apparatus finals tomorrow, so do please join me for those. It's just a reminder of what we have been seeing in this rotation on the floor from Andrea Daniela Cerusniuc, 19-year-old from Romania. 11.75 her score, really good conclusion to her competition, significantly higher by over a mark than the score that she received in qualification. On we go, this the final part of the competition. We are about to witness Aiko Sugihara from Japan. Still to come is the leader, Hitomi Hadakeda. And still to come is Lilia Akaimova. It is a really dramatic and characterful display on floor from Aiko Sugihara. She recently took a silver medal on the floor in the All Japan Event Championships. And her score was 13.25 in qualifying. And now what we're going to see is whether she can jump beyond Uliana Perebinosova. Perebinosova leads the way on a score of 52.7. And that means that Sugihara requires a score of around 13.5, considering she got 13.25 in qualifying. Is it doable? Is it achievable? It's certainly going to be pretty anxious wait for Perebinosova. Could be a touch close, this one. Took the team gold medal yesterday, so whatever happens here, she leaves as a Universiade champion. Can the 19-year-old get anything more? Elsa Gertz will be next to go. Just a reminder that the score needs to be 13.5 sort of mark. She's come up a little shy of that, Sugihara, 13.2, so Sugihara is in second position. Uliana Perebinosova still leads. Sugihara 0.25 behind. Lara Mori now moves down into the bronze medal position, but we still have got some big performers to come. Now, Elsa Gertz of Netherlands. She was fourth recently on floor of the Dutch Championships. Elsa Gertz concluding her competition. Gymnast who had to go round and qualify as an individual during the team competition. She was paired up with the gymnasts from Japan, and she will be participating in the vault final as the 7th strongest qualifier tomorrow. And those apparatus finals begin at 11 o'clock in the morning local time in Naples. It's going to be a big day of competition. It's always good to see officials enjoying watching the sport, enjoying judging it. After all, what is this if not an awful lot of fun? Should probably say an awful lot of hard work as well, actually, which would be a fair point. She's acquitted herself very well, Elsa Gertz, in this competition. They're all a touch quieter now and more nervous, the Italian fans, knowing that Mori is holding on to bronze very marginally, because would be quite surprising if she were to stay in that position, because there are some strong performances still to come, and we still have got the discussion between Lilia Akimova and Hitomi Hadekeda to come. It's going to bring to a close this competition. Last two performances coming up in just a moment, once we've got this score in for Elsa Gertz.
Floor, Russia, Lilia Akimova.
And it is 11.8 for her, very close to the qualification mark she received, and it means that Gertz is currently positioned 7th. Now, here we go. Lilia Akimova. 13.35 for this routine in qualification. It's very, very strong if all goes well. The shock, the audible gasp as the hands went down. And what does that mean now for Lilia Akimova's chances of securing this gold medal? She has given it her absolute all. She really has, couldn't have done more. Been wonderful to watch her perform as such a key part of this Russian team. So much was absolutely right, was so well performed. It only just takes one small moment. It is the cruelest of things, a gymnastics competition, and there it was. There will be nothing that anyone can say right now to Lilia Akimova that will make her feel considerably better about that moment. Nothing at all.
Floor, Japan, Hitomi Hadekeda.
It's 12.3 for Lilia Akimova. And that means she is positioned in second place. Pereminosova holding on to the lead. But what now for Hitomi Hadekeda? Surely she'll be able to do this. It seems a mere formality now for Hitomi Hadakeda to wait for the score to come in. And she basks just for a moment in the applause of the crowd. And I'm sure the words of the coach there will be, you know what, I think you've done it. I think you're about to get your second gold medal in as many days.
Stay with us for the medal ceremony, which is coming up shortly.
Let us look back and enjoy this routine from Hitomi Hadakeda. We have two gymnasts on 52.7, Uliana Perevinosova and Lilia Akaimova. By virtue of the separation criteria, which is looking at the top three scores of those gymnasts, Perevinosova has it 40.6 to 40.4. We'll come back to that in a moment. Very, very close for Akaimova. She hasn't quite made it into the silver medal position. Surely Hadakeda is about to fly into the gold medal position, and indeed she is. She points to the flag on her arm, the Hinomaru. It is another gold for Japan. They are in total control of artistic gymnastics here at Napoli 2019. It's a clean sweep so far. And it's another gold for Hitomi Hadakeda. And she is, by over a mark, the winner of this competition. Aiko Sugihara just missing out in fourth position. Just whilst these celebrations are going on, a reminder of what was happening over on the other side of the competition. Farah Abdul Hadi completing her competition on vault. And it's been a good competition for Farah Abdul Hadi, finishing in 8th place. She was the 12th strongest qualifier, so very positively she has attacked this all-around final. But the crowd here in the Bella Vesuvio, they have been treated to a great competition, and one that has been triumphed by Hitomi Hadakeda, with Uliana Perevinosova taking the silver medal. A great display by Perevinosova. She really did deliver a fantastic uneven bars routine. That 14.35 on the uneven bars, of paramount importance to her in securing that silver over her teammate Lilia Akaimova, who takes the bronze, marginally ahead of Aiko Sugihara. Well, we've ended up with almost a copy of the qualification results. It's just the two gymnasts in the middle have switched around. And Lara Mori doing brilliantly to finish in 5th position. And she made a great fight of it as well. And this, the rest of the leaderboard, some of these gymnasts we will be seeing in the apparatus finals that are coming up tomorrow. But more immediately, coming up in just a few minutes, we have the victory ceremony for this women's all-around competition in artistic gymnastics. So do take a moment to let the dust settle and then come back and join us for the ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will present the medal ceremony in 5 minutes. Signore e signori, la cerimonia di premiazione avverrà tra 5 minuti. Ladies and gentlemen, the medal awarding ceremony for the all-round final Artistic Gymnastic Women. Signore e signori, la cerimonia di premiazione per la finale all-round di ginnastica artistica femminile.
It's now time for the victory ceremony in the Artistic Gymnastics Women's All-Around competition here at the Pala Vesuvio in Naples as part of the 30th Summer Universiade. Qualification told us this would be a close competition. It kept us guessing right until the very end. They delivered in drama, delivered in quality, delivered in performance.
We are now going to begin the awarding of the medals. Sta per iniziare la consegna delle medaglie. The medals will be presented by Mr. Hassan Sheikh, honorary member of International University Sports Federation. And the mascots will be presented by Mr. Rosario Pitton, Italian Gymnastic Federation Vice President. Le medaglie saranno consegnate dal Mr. Hassan Sheikh, membro onorario della Federazione Internazionale Sport Universitari, mentre la mascotte verrà consegnata da Rosario Pitton, vicepresidente della Federazione Ginnastica d'Italia. Third place and bronze medalist Lilia Akaimova, Russia. Terzo posto e medaglia di bronzo per Lilia Akaimova.
It is a full set of colours
Russia.
at the Universiade for Lilia Akaimova. She really is such an impressive gymnast, adding to her collection of medals, and she was so close to chasing down Hitomi Hadakeda. The bronze medal to Lilia Akaimova of the Russian Federation.
Second place and the silver medalist Uliana Perebinosova, Russia. Secondo posto,
another Russian on the podium, joining her teammate Lilia Akaimova, Uliana Perebinosova, recipient of the silver medal. Great campaign from her, and winning by virtue of the separation criteria, the total score of the strongest 3 marks, and that's where her uneven bars performance really came to the forefront. As a result, she adds to her team silver medal with an all-around silver medal.
The gold medalist Hitomi Hadakeda, Japan.
But the story here at the Pala Vesuvio is quite a simple one. They keep winning, that's the end of that. Japan take another gold medal. Double team triumph, men's all-around triumph. And now the turn of Hitomi Hadakeda. Top qualifier, the gold medalist. Her mother, many years ago, Yukiko, competed at the Universiade. How's that for keeping it in the family? The Universiade champion, the gold medalist, Hitomi Hadakeda of Japan.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now please rise for the International University Sports Federation Antim. E ora, signore e signori, per favore in piedi per l'inno della Federazione Internazionale Sport Universitari.
To the anthem of the Fédération Internationale de Sport Universitaire, the celebrations of Hitomi Hatakeda of Japan.
Thank you, Mr. Schick and Mr. Pitton. Vi ricordiamo l'appuntamento di domani per le finali di specialità.
And there they are, the medalists in the women's all-around competition in artistic gymnastics at Napoli 2019. Events change, athletes change. One thing doesn't, Japan keep winning. They are having a fantastic competition. But you know what? We still have 10 gold medals to be awarded, and that will be happening tomorrow as the individual apparatus finals take place on the final day of artistic gymnastics action at the Pala Vesuvio in Napoli. Until then, from me, Ollie Hogben, it's goodbye, but not farewell.
Tomorrow, apparatus final start at 11 o'clock with the first part. Domani le gare di finale di specialità avranno inizio alle ore 11 con il corpo libero, il cavallo con maniglie e gli anelli per quanto riguarda la sezione maschile, il volteggio e le parallele simmetriche per quanto riguarda la sezione femminile. The first part of apparatus final tomorrow at 11 o'clock with floor, pommel horse and rings for men and vault and uneven bars for women. See you tomorrow.